Hello, guys, and welcome to day number 12 of this challenge 30 days of JavaScript. So, today we are going to solve add to promises. All right, so let's go ahead and read the problem statement. Given two promises, promise 1 and promise 2, return a new promise. Promise 1 and promise 2 will both resolve with a number. The return promise should resolve with the sum of the two numbers. And this is just some of the example that they provided to us on how these promise work. So promise 1 is a promise that will resolve to 2, for example, on this example, and promise 2 will resolve to 5. But the promise has a set timeout, so the return value won't be coming at the same time. So we need to take that one into consideration as well. And in here, so pretty much is the same thing, just explaining that, this is example number 2, pretty much is the same thing. So the return value 2 and 5 will come, and then we need to find the sum, which will give us 7. And that's the output that we see here. And the same thing would happen here. The return value will be 10, and then here the result value will be negative 12. And when we do 10 plus negative 12, that should be negative 2. Now, let's go ahead and, start to write some code. Here we need to create a function that takes 2 arguments. And the function that we are going to create will be named add to promises. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one. Sorry. And this function, add to promises, will take as argument promise 1 and promise 2. Now, because this promise, right? Because this promise 1 and promise 2 will resolve to a value, but they are also promised, so we need to wait for those values to come back. So what we can do here is, let me comment here. So get the resolve value from promise 1 and promise 2. So I'm gonna have here constant value 1 will be equal to promise 1, and value 2 will be equal to promise 2. Now, because we have a set timeout here, so that means we need to wait for this value. Otherwise, if we try to do const, okay. Now get the sum. Let's here say get the sum of the resolve value. Here, if we try to do const sum and say equal to value 1 plus value 2, because these are promise, right? So because these are promise, as long as I forgot one thing here. Yeah, you gotta make sure that you don't have any typo or you are not misspelling things here. Otherwise, you'll have some problem and the code won't be, the code will not give you the result that you are expecting. So because these are promises, right? Because these two are promises, sometimes the value, or most of the time, the value won't be coming back right away. It's promising you that you're gonna get a value, but if I try to do count sum of value 1 plus value 2, it's possible that we are going to get an error or something won't be working because one of these values will not be an integer, for example. And doing a number adding a number to a string, it's not possible. So we must take that one into consideration. But this is not what we are trying to do here. So we have this one. So because we need to wait for those promises to arrive, one thing we can do is add the await um, add the await in front of these promises so that we will be waiting for the promise. And because we add the await here, we need to make sure that this function, right, like the add to promises, we need to make sure that it's in a sync function. So another thing that we need to do here is add a sync. So because we have the async function here, now we can use the await function inside, the await inside this function. And what it's gonna do is that no matter how long it takes for these promises to resolve, we are going to wait for the value. So we are going to wait for the value, and then once we get this value and then this value, we will do the sum here and assign this variable to the value that we got from this operation right here. All right. So now we get the sum. So we await for the values for promise 1 and promise 2. We get the sum from these two values, and now we need to return a new promise. Okay. So now we need to return a new promise. Okay. So because we know for a fact, so based on the statement, we know for a fact that promise 1 and promise 2 will both resolve with a number. So because we know that it's gonna resolve with a number, uh, what we can do here, we are not going to reject anything. I think we can just do this, right? And then return the sum, right? So yeah, so pretty much what's this one it's doing. So actually, let me comment here real quick again. Turn a new promise. So in here, after getting the value, after waiting for the value from promise 1 and promise 2, we get the sum from these two values by doing this operation. So const sum is equal to value 1 and value 2. The result that we are going to get, we are going to return it into this new promise. So because they want us to return a new promise, so we do return new promise. And since we know for a fact this will be numbers, right? This will be numbers, and the sum will be a number. So we are going to do new promise resolve, and we know this one need to resolve uh, with a number, which will be the sum of the two value. All right. So I think pretty much this is the end of the code. Let's go ahead and try to run it and see what we are going to get. All right. Got some problem here. No output. All right. What's going on here? What did we do wrong? Very interesting. What did we do wrong? Okay, actually, let me do this. So I'm gonna do const and have the new promise here. Okay, and try to return the new promise here. And let's see if this will work. we are not getting anything back. Maybe I still need this one here checked. Then if I do this, oh, I see. I think I know what happened. I don't need all this. Yeah, I think I know what happened. So this one need to be like this. I believe this was the problem. I think I know what happened now. All right. Yep. So yeah, because I forgot to add the resolve after this arrow function right here. So I need to add a resolve so that we know this will return a number, and that number we are going to use it whenever we do the dot then. So yeah, that's the end of the code. As you can see, we pass both cases here. We got the expected value. Our output here was -2, and the output for case number 1, it is 7. And here, the problem that we had, so if I decide to go back, no, can I go back? So our function was like this before. So the problem that we had here, we are returning a promise, but we are not resolving to anything. So we pass the argument inside here. So we have the resolve. I can write it as resolve, but I just try to write a small letter as much as possible, if I can say that. So I didn't want to have a long code here, but this res means resolve. So we are using this argument and then say it's going to return something, but because this is a promise, it's not resolving to anything, right? So in order for this code, part of the code to work, the only thing that I needed was to add resolve here and then put the sum inside parentheses in order for it to work. And when I did run, everything worked. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and submit this code. Hopefully we are going to pass all the tests. Let's see. Yep, perfect. As you can see, the code has been accepted, and this marks the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on another episode. Bye bye.